Yo, it's Two Side Anime here, and today we have a lot to talk about. Here on this good day to talk about my GOAT, my glorious king, the one and only Sasuke Uchiha, and his return to the series and how he's gonna probably be way stronger than what he was before. The moment the God Tree clones were introduced, I was literally the first person to throw it on the timeline. I can show you guys the tweet below where I said, Hidari is Sasuke. Sasuke somehow is going to take over, or Hidari is going to merge his consciousness with Sasuke, and through that, him interacting with Sarada in the future and seeing her MS Sharingan is going to trigger Sasuke's subconscious, allowing Sasuke to live through Hidari, or Hidari to think he's just like Sasuke and he has to protect Sarada, all because of her MS Sharingan. Why? Because the last thing that Sasuke saw from his daughter was her awakening her MS, and that triggered him to believe and trust his daughter. This was the only reason why Sasuke continued to rescue Boruto, escape the village, and train him, taking the blame of being an accomplice to the death of his best friend, Naruto Uzumaki. That was very obvious, but we can get into that later in the video. I was skeptical when Sasuke was sealed away and he became a God Tree clone. I was like, it was over for my boy, but not realizing this was the best thing that can ever happen to Sasuke. Ever since Sasuke lost his Rinnegan, there were so many debates about him being nerfed because of how Momoshiki poked out his Rinnegan, and that caused so much drama on the timeline, and especially on Twitter when it came to Boruto Part 1. But it also sparked another important debate. How strong is Sasuke without his Rinnegan, and can he beat Naruto? And those were all fun power scaling debates, but I always said my boy Sasuke is beating Naruto without the Nine Tails. I'm sorry, he's different. But now I highly believe that this situation with Hidari having a Rinnegan and having an arm, that when Sasuke is released from the Claw Grime tree, he'll finally attach that arm from Hidari's body and that Rinnegan, revitalizing his true power, allowing him to become the strongest version of Sasuke Uchiha, taking that arm because he's gonna need to help Boruto the next round of battles. Cue back. If Sasuke would have accepted the Hashirama cell crafted arm that Lady Tsunade created, Sasuke wouldn't have had any of those drawbacks that he was experiencing from the Rinnegan. If you remember during the war arc, the combination of the Rinnegan and the Hashirama cells allowed Madara to be practically unstoppable. Hashirama cells is nothing but the trend of the Naruto universe. If you get enough of that in your body, you're gonna come out looking like Sam Sulek, ready for war. Imagine a full power Sasuke with a Hashirama cell arm, with his full arsenal. Sasuke would have been unstoppable, and we probably would have seen a lot more abilities from his Rinnegan outside of his teleportation, dimension traveling, and I think we've seen him do the planetary devastation at least once against Momoshiki, if I remember correctly. It would be like Pain having a Karma Seal. That's how strong Sasuke would be if he had a Hashirama cell. All of this is possible because of Hidari's Rinnegan and because of Hidari's arm. There's going to be a way for Sasuke to reawaken his Rinnegan through Hidari and also recover his arm so he can be ready for the next fight. Oh, what you guys are thinking? Okay, all of this sounds cool on paper, a full power Sasuke with a brand new Rinnegan and a new arm. Would this be possible? If I can tell you that Ikimoto has been dropping multiple hints since the first couple of chapters of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex that Sasuke was going to return. So for the rest of the video, I'm gonna go over each and every hint, starting from chapter 1 all the way to the current chapter. On page 5 in chapter 5 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, a conversation happened between Boruto and Sasuke, which was very interesting. He said, I think I finally understand why Sarada asked me to help you. Something is going on, something that only you and Sarada can deal with. That's what my gut is telling me, and that's why I mentored you. After that, Sasuke sacrifices himself to allow Boruto to escape with his life against Ko. His final words were, watch over Sarada for me. Because of the love that he has for his daughter Sarada and the gut feeling that Boruto and Sarada will be key to figuring out omnipotence, just with his sheer will and his belief in his daughter, Sasuke was able to fight against a godlike ability that manifests an infinite amount of possibilities. Just think about that. That one thing that Sasuke remembered, his daughter awakening his MS Sharingan, and his gut feeling is what he's been using to continue to trust Boruto. Point is important, and I'm gonna come back to it coming to the end of the video so I can tie everything together. Hint was in chapter 5 as well, and it was just Jura's interaction with Hidari. You can just tell that Jura doesn't truly trust Hidari 100%. He's always looking at him and hitting the summary and having the ... Hidari was the first character to basically ask Jura, what are we? And Jura basically just gaslit him into saying, hey yo, just consume your target and then you'll find out your identity. Even when Hidari said, I want to consume Sarada, Jura still gave him the side eye, like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. And it was kind of explained in the latest chapter. I'm about to go off on a rant. Jura already has an understanding of what love is. And he knows if Hidari keeps interacting with Sarada, that strong emotion love might awaken some of Sasuke's memories within Hidari, and that will start to mess with his programming. And that leads us to chapter 11, another hint. Right before Hidari was about to consume Sarada, he states that, Sarada Uchiha, I ask you, who are you? You guys are going to say, well, yeah, it's obvious because he needs to consume her. It's cool to see the parallels between Hidari and Sasuke. The same level of importance that Sarada had for Sasuke to trust Boruto is the same level of importance that Hidari has for Sarada to uncover his identity. Just think about it like that Netflix show cartoon about Dracula. You know that moment when he was beating his son and he realized that was his son and he had to stop himself? That's what's about to happen to Hidari, but I digress. We're gonna move on to chapter 13. Because again, chapter 13 is very important. See, chapter 13 is where Hidari was resurrected, and the first thing that Jura asked was, hey Hidari, is there any problems? He was testing Hidari to see if his personality was still the same, that it was still intact, that nothing changed. So if a God Tree clone dies and the Thorn Soul Bulb is released and Jura gets his hands on it in time and resurrects him, there's a possibility that they will not come back same, or if they do come back the same with their personality, there may be a couple screws loose. Screws being loose can cause a distortion between the Hidari personality and their host personality. For Hidari, it would be Sasuke. And final clue, and I think one of the most important clues, is the situation that just took place in chapter 20 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex between Masuri and Konohamaru. That conversation where she started crying because she didn't want to kill Konohamaru because she was feeling all the emotions Moegi was feeling, is the same exact emotions Hidari is going to feel when he faces off against Sarada. He's going to remember Sarada awakening his MS Sharingan. He's going to remember his promise of taking care of Boruto. He's going to remember Sasuke telling Boruto that Sarada is important to figuring out what's going on. All this leads back to the first point that I made before we went down the list of clues. Those core memories Sasuke retained about his daughter is going to be the variable that's going to awaken Sasuke's subconscious within Hidari, which is going to fuse him. Love is going to confuse him, just like how love allowed Masuri to be tricked by Konohamaru. I want you to go to chapter 20 and look at page 28. Ikimoto did something very special here. While Jura is explaining what love is, that whole conversation, he shows you the facial expressions of two different God Tree clones, Hidari and the Bug God Tree clone. The Bug God Tree clone doesn't care. He's just staring there. He's just staring at Jura like, oh, I don't really care about none of that. While Hidari is listening closely to what Jura is saying, because Jura is helping Hidari in this very moment understand the feelings that he has towards Sarada, the love that Sasuke feels subconsciously that Hidari is currently feeding off of. We all know chakra stores memories. Just remember the war arc when Ino connected to Naruto's chakra and all his feelings and emotions got spilled out on the battlefield. That's exactly what's going on with Hidari. The host of the God Tree clones are chakra sources, and they're feeding off of this chakra source. They're feeding off their memories and emotions. Don't be shocked in the next chapter when Hidari confronts Sarada and bursts out, I think I love you. Gonna be an awkward moment, but I see it happening very soon. If Sarada is in danger, just know Hidari is gonna step in and save her. But that's it for the video. Like, comment, subscribe. As usual, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Don't forget, we now have the members options on this channel, and I'm really excited. But no pressure on you guys. Just leaving a like on the video helps me out a lot. at the end of the day. Like I said, love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.